So good day everyone, I'm Mitch Andro Tunda from BSIT for Black Sea. So today I will tackle about WINS or Windows Internet Name Service. So what is WINS? WINS is a name resolution protocol used in Microsoft Windows-based networks to map NetBIOS names to IP addresses. It provides a dynamic name registration and resolution mechanism, allowing computers to locate and communicate with each other over the internet. So, mao ni siya ang system na gigamit sa older Windows networks to help computers find each other using simple, human-readable names that we call NetBIOS. So names instead of long and hard to remember IP addresses like 192.168.1.1 and so on. So mura siya og phone book for computers. So matching each computer's name to its unique IP addresses. So now let us talk about WINS architecture. So the architecture involves several key components that interact interact with each other to enable centralized and dynamic name resolution. So here's an overview of the WINS architecture and how its components fit together. So number one, WINS clients. So these are the network's devices, computers, servers, or printers that are WINS enabled and can register their NetBIOS names with an WINS server. So ang WINS clients naa siya'y duha ka roles, ang name registration ug ang name resolution. So what is name registration? So when a computer or WINS client joins a network, it tells the WINS server its name and IP addresses. So name resolution, if the computer wants to talk to another device, it asks the WINS server to find the IP addresses for that device name. So the computer talks directly to the WINS server instead of using broadcast. This makes it faster and better for large networks, so with many parts or subnets. So number two, WINS server. So the WINS server is a central component that stores the mappings of NetBIOS naming to IP addresses in dynamic database. So the same with WINS client na agyapoy name registration and name resolution and WINS servers but nay renewal where they check and regularly to keep their information up to date and napun-an og database management. So database management, the WINS servers keep a database that is updated automatically automatically whenever computers register or change their information. So the WINS server handles all requests for name registration and resolution from computers and proxies. So there can be multiple WINS servers in a network to ensure reliability and balance the load, so keeping their information consistent with each other. So number three, WINS proxy. So a WINS proxy is a device that acts on behalf of non-WINS clients or devices that are not configured to use WINS. So ang proxy na tulo ka roles. First, the broadcast interception, name resolution, and name registration. So ang broadcast interception is a non-WINS clients usually use broadcast messages to find names. The WINS proxy listens for these messages on the network. So name resolution is the WINS proxy hears a broadcast. It asks the WINS server for the IP addresses, then gives the information back to the non-WINS client. And the name registration is sometimes the Wins proxy can also register names for non-Wins clients with the Wins server. So Wins proxies help non-Wins clients work with the Wins system, allowing older devices to communicate even if they can't connect directly to a Wins server. So number 4, Wins database. So the Wins database is a dynamic, constantly updated repository that stores mappings of NetBIOS names to IP addresses. So nagapon siya tulo ka roles. First, the name storage, dynamic updates, and database replication. So name storage, the Win server keeps a list of all registered clients, including those that use Wins and those that don't through proxies in its database. So dynamic updates. The server updates this list automatically when clients register, check in, or leave the network. And lastly, database replication. There are multiple Win servers. They share and update their databases with each other so that all servers have the same information. So the Win server constantly uses the database to handle requests for finding names to keep the client information current. Number 5, database replication. So, database replication refers to the synchronization of WINS databases between multiple WINS servers in a network. So, nagapon siya tulo ka roles: data consistency, redundancy, and load balancing. Data consistency is a replication. Make sure that all WINS servers have the latest information about names and IP addresses. It doesn't matter which server a client connect to, so they will have the same to date the data. So second, redundancy. If one wins server fails, other can still help clients because they have the same information. So this makes the system more reliable. So lastly, load balancing. With several Win servers sharing the same data, the work is spread out among them. This helps improve the speed and performance of the network. So number 7, I rather number 6, subnet and router configuration. So subnets are division of a larger network and routers connect these subnets, managing the traffic between them. So roles of WINS is subnet communication and cross-subnet name resolution. So normally, computers can only find names on the same subnet because routers block broadcast messages. WINS solves this by using these servers to help computers in different subnets find each other's name. So WINS clients or servers can work together even if they are different subnets. So this allows them to share name information across network segments that would not able to communicate with each other using regular methods. And lastly, number 7 is broadcast and name resolution or non-WINS clients. So non-WINS clients use NetBIOS broadcast traffic to resolve names on the local network. So broadcast traffic is limited to devices within the same subnet. So naa gyapon siya'y duha ka role in WINS architecture. So first, the broadcast limitation, and the second is proxy support. So broadcast limitations is routers stop broadcast messages from going between different subnets. This means that computers that don't use WINS can only find names in their own subnet. So proxy support is a proxy helps disown non-WINS clients by sending their name requests to the WINS server, so which can define names across different subnets. So non-WINS clients can still connect to the WINS system thanks to WINS proxies. So these proxies allow them to find names outside their own subnet by using the WINS servers. Okay, so conclusion are key components of WINS. So first is the WINS server. The WINS server is the main part of the system that manages name requests and registrations. So it keeps a list net bias names and their matching IP addresses. So when a computer wants to find IP addresses for a name, it sends a request name requests and registrations. So it keeps lists of net BIOS names and their matching IP addresses. So when computer want to find IP addresses for a name, it sends a request to the Win server. So the server looks through its lists and gives back the correct IP addresses if it finds it. So second, the Wins client. So the Wins client is a software that runs on each computer or devices in the network. So its job is to task the Win server for help in finding computer names. So when a computer wants to talk to another computer, it uses the Win's client to request IP addresses of the computer by sending the net BIOS name to the Win server, and the server then gives back to the IP addresses, allowing the two computers to communicate. So, conclusion. Conclusion: Cybersecurity safeguards computer systems, networks, and data from unauthorized access, attacks, and damage. It includes encryption for data security, firewalls for network traffic control, and intrusion detection system for threat identification. So proactive measures like vulnerability assessments and security training mitigate risk and protect organization. And that's all. Thank you.